Hello and welcome to this video on the 6-step framework for coaching mastery. My name is Sean Smith. I'm pictured there on the screen. I'm the founder of MVP Success Systems as well as Elite Coaching University, where we give you the skills to be a better coach and the tools to build a bigger business. And before we get into this framework, I want to tell you just a little bit about me so you have some context of what I've gone through and where my opinions and experience comes from. I've been speaking and coaching since 2005. I've been very fortunate and blessed to do some amazing and cool and fun things in my business. I won a speaking competition in 2013. I was named North America's Next Greatest Speaker. I've traveled the globe, North America, Colombia, Costa Rica, Greece. I even had a 2.5 week tour in India, which was super fun and fantastic. But I'll tell you, it wasn't always fantastic in my business. We have made hundreds of thousands of dollars of mistakes. And in year three, we actually had to file bankruptcy. The first 18 months in our business, we did really, really well, and then shifted a bunch of things and it started to implode. And I tell you that obviously not to impress you by letting you know that we ended up filing bankruptcy, but I tell you that because that's where I learned the most about myself, about my business, about my relationship with money. And that's when I became a much better coach, when I actually fell all the way down the hill and broke a bunch of bones and emotions, and all the hardship is what taught me the lessons that are most valuable to me now, and the lessons that allow me to be the most valuable to you so that you can hopefully avoid a lot of the mistakes that we made. And that was a very dark and challenging time for me. I felt depressed for the first time in my life. I questioned who I was as a person, as a man, as a father, as a husband. I couldn't provide for my family. But ultimately, it caused me to ask some very important questions of myself. And when I finally figured out the answers, I came out of the funk and we righted the ship. We've done nearly $3 million in business over the course of the last 10 plus years. And over the last 2 years, we've done over $875,000. And I don't share that to try to impress you. It's not about the money whatsoever. I just want you to know what we have created and achieved in this business. And I've also been very fortunate to appear on a bunch of TV shows on all the major networks. And I just love this industry. It's the most noble thing that you can do is to have a message and get out there and share your message with people. You can make a very lucrative income. You can write your own schedule and have a lot of fulfillment in your life as well as help people change their lives. But here's the problem. The majority of coaches get into this business to change lives. However, I would say more than 95% of them never get their business going. And because of that, their message dies inside of them. And the people that are seeking their help don't get served. And for the coach individually, they end up quitting, they tend to lick their wounds and just retreat. Now, in my experience, there are 5 main reasons that coaches fail. And I'm going to count these down for you. Number 5 is a lack of systems and framework to actually build, automate, and scale your business to the levels that you want. Number 4 is a lack of clarity of the industry that you're in or want to go after, the competitors in that industry, the seekers or your target market or ideal client. Number 3 is a lack of coaching tools and exercises that you can use with your clients. Number 2 is a lack of mastery. You got to be a good coach on all levels. And that includes learning, doing, experiencing across various methods. And the number one reason that I see is a lack of confidence and certainty. Generally, that's because of your own internal fears, doubts, limiting beliefs. It's the inner game that's going to cause success or failure all the time. And you must have certainty to attract clients to you. Now, there are four areas that you have to have certainty in. Number one is yourself. You need to know what value you bring to the marketplace and how you can uniquely stand out. Number two, your seeker. That's the person that's seeking the knowledge that you have inside you right now. You have to be clear about who they are, where they are, and what they want. Number three, you have to have certainty in your skill set. If you're not certain about the ability that you have to change somebody's life, they won't trust you enough to ever hire you as a coach, buy your programs, or attend your seminars. And finally, number four, the solutions that you're going to provide to people. This is the marketing piece. This is where you decide what programs you're going to create, how you're going to price them, how you're going to sell them, how you're going to market them on social media or wherever you're going to market. But the problem for most people is that they go there first or they go there too soon. You have to have the foundational certainty in numbers 1, 2, and 3 before you go out there and try to set up websites and build platforms and try to attract clients to you. Now, number 3 is highlighted in yellow because that's what I want to focus on in this video is your skill set as a coach. Now, when we talk about coaching, there are basically two forms. There is what I call how-to coaching and then what I call breakthrough coaching. And neither one is wrong or better than the other. You just have to understand which one you want to do and then train yourself accordingly. How-to coaching is basically when you focus on behavior. You coach people how to change their behavior. And I refer to that as being above the surface or above the water. If you see the diagram here, most of the iceberg is below the water. So if you want to be a breakthrough coach and help people in the deepest areas of their life and make the most profound changes, you've got to go under the surface. You've got to understand and be able to help people with their perceptions of themselves and the world, with their attitudes, with the values, with their beliefs that basically controls everything and all the circumstances and achievements that they have in their life, and their drivers, which is the basis of all decision making. Now, I've been coaching in the breakthrough space for many, many years, and I've developed this Ignite framework. And this framework will help you with any kind of coaching that you do because every good coaching interaction basically has these 6 steps. And this can contract if we're talking about a very short conversation in 5 to 10 minutes, or this can expand and you can actually teach a 3 or 5 day seminar and walk your audience through these 6 steps. Now, Ignite is an acronym, and the I stands for Inquire and Identify. The first requirement of any coaching interaction is that you inquire by asking a lot of questions so that you understand the client's model of the world. You're not doing any coaching at this point. You're just seeking to understand their frame of reference and how they are perceiving the world. Now, as a coach, it's also critical that you don't judge other people's perceptions. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to help them. The G stands for Get Permission and Leverage. Even if somebody's paying you, that doesn't necessarily mean you have specific permission to handle any particular issue that comes up. So as you identify something that you want to talk about, it's really important that you say, do I have your permission to help you push through this right now? Or do I have your permission to coach you right now? And you also need to get leverage. What that means is there has to be a reason for them to change. You've got to ask them what kind of challenges this problem is creating in their life, or just simply ask, why do you want to make this change? When somebody has leverage about why they want to change something in their life and they've given you permission, now we're ready to get deeper into the coaching. The N stands for new outcomes. Now, a lot of coaches make the mistake of thinking they know what the client wants just by the problem that shows up. So let's say somebody says, I have a fear of public speaking. You might think that they want to be able to deliver this speech in front of 1,000 people because that's what you want to do. But they might just want to be able to talk in front of 3 people without their armpits sweating or without forgetting their lines. So it's important for you to ask them what the target is in their words, in their language. Now, what that'll give you is a benchmark for you to make sure that you help them achieve. And it'll give them the experience of having accomplished progress when you help them meet this particular benchmark. The second I is my favorite. This is the inner work. This is when we get in there and we do whatever has to be done emotionally or psychologically to give the client a neurological shift. And the reason this is so important, if you remember that iceberg analogy, is that if you can't help your client make the internal changes, then the best thing you can do is give them some short-term success. Now, I hope and imagine you're like me. You want to help people with the long-term changes in their life, not just short-term temporary stuff. So you've got to get good at the inner work. And I'll go a little bit deeper into that in a moment. The T stands for test and tweak. Once the inner work is done, you want to test the changes. Sometimes that might mean actually having the client try the new skill out immediately. For instance, I was at a seminar one time and somebody in the audience wanted support in clearing her fear of public speaking. So we did some inner work while she was in her chair. And then I brought her up and I actually had her talk in front of the crowd. So that was an instance where I could give her the real life experience of what we just worked on and make sure that it worked. Now, in that case, it did. So she went back and sat down knowing that she can actually get up and experience something different when she speaks in front of a crowd. If you don't have the ability to do that, sometimes you can just have the client close their eyes and imagine the new situation and see if their body reacts the old way or if it reacts the new way. And another thing you can do is have them in the future go out and test the new behavior and then report back to you what they experienced. I had another client one time who was afraid of driving on the freeway, and she couldn't go more than 3 exits in her car before she had to get off. At the 3rd exit, she would always have a panic attack. So we did some inner work. We created some new behaviors. So we did some inner work. We collapsed some of her fear triggers. We created some new strategies and behaviors for her. And then I said, right now, I want you to get in your car and go drive on the freeway. And when that 3rd exit comes, practice the new behaviors, and let's see what happens. So she called me back about 30 minutes later, and she said she went 6 exits, and it was progress. And I was so excited because that's huge progress in the moment. After a 30-minute coaching call, all of a sudden she can do twice as much as she could do before. And obviously she had the experience of progress because we had identified the new outcome, she tested it, and she got it. Now, if whatever you test out doesn't work, well, then you have to tweak it. Maybe you have to do more inner work. Maybe you have to do different kinds of work. Or maybe this is more of a long-term process. Sometimes we can't get rid of things in the moment. They might take days or weeks or months, and you just have to let the client know that. But the bottom line is you want to get them to a place where they feel successful, they're able to achieve their outcomes, and then going forward, you've got to set them up to succeed in their own environment. So the E stands for empower them to succeed. Sometimes that means they need more coaching, they might need a mentor, they might need a mastermind group, they might need to go read a book, they might need to go to a certain seminar. Whatever it is that they've got to do going forward in order to cement and support the new behavior, you have to give that to them as a responsible coach. All right, let's dive a little deeper into the inner work. And the essence of inner work is something that we call reframing. That's the core of breakthrough coaching. And the key concept here is that you cannot change the past. You can't have people pretend that things didn't happen in the past, but you can absolutely change the way that you or your clients are holding on to the past. And basically what we're giving people is a new way of looking at something old. And we call this reframing because it's like taking a picture and just changing the frame around the picture. So maybe somebody has a painful memory from the past and you help them shift it to an empowering memory. Now, the key to remember is that you're not actually searching for the right answers. You just need to find a better possibility that creates a better and more supportive feeling. But this piece is critical. It has to be neurological for it to last. It can't just be logical and intellectual. Otherwise, it will be short term, like I talked about earlier. If you really want it to last, it has to be in the body. You've got to help people internally reframe emotions, reframe beliefs, reframe drivers, reframe values, or maybe even reframe their identities, who they believe themselves to be. That's the only way that breakthrough coaching is actually going to last. Otherwise, you have all these people that get motivated because they had an intellectual aha, and yet 2 days later, they're back to their old patterns. So, obviously, as an elite coach, you don't want to send your clients out there only to have them revert back to their old behaviors in a short period of time. Now, there are tons of breakthrough exercises to do the inner work, and I'm just going to share a few of them with you. There's stacking, collapsing, and chaining anchors, which is a connection between a certain state of mind and some sort of trigger. There's stacking, collapsing, and chaining of anchors, which is basically a connection between some emotional state and a stimulus. So you can teach people how to become confident or peaceful or excited at any point in time, no matter what's happening around them. Metaphor mastery. That's the absolute best way to coach and get the lessons to stick inside your client. Expanded awareness is a process where you help people find hidden solutions inside of their psychology that they weren't even aware of before. Reframing, I talked about, and when you get deeper into reframing, you have the ability to remove internal conflicts that have literally been holding people back for years and years and years, sometimes decades. Eliminating guilt and shame. These are two nasty emotions that a lot of people deal with, and it gives your client emotional freedom when you help them get rid of the guilt and shame that's stuck inside their bodies. Values elicitation is one of my favorite exercises on the planet. It helps people see what's most important to them, and it gives them a way to create intentional joy, happiness, and fulfillment in their life. The painful thought reframe is a way to relieve people of any kind of stuck emotions that they're carrying around, whether it's grief or anger or sadness or depression. And it also gives people a tremendous amount of emotional freedom. We look at environments because your environments are on 24 hours a day. And if you're going to set people up to succeed, they have to make changes in their environments, and it becomes a recipe for happiness and joy in their life. My favorite exercise is called timeline therapy. This is the exercise that allowed me, in about a 15-minute period of time, to change my entire life. This is the exercise that a life coach used with me in about a 15-minute guided visualization that changed my entire life in 2005. That's what made me want to become a coach, and it helped me immediately become more successful in every area of my life. This really is the core of belief work. Releasing emotional pain is a 5-step process to, again, release some of the emotions that people might have stuck inside of them. Parts integration is a way to help people get clarity on any internal conflicts that they may have that's causing them to hesitate in some area of their life. We do a lot of work with people's strategies, which basically means the way that they do things, their habits and their behaviors. And sometimes we have to remove old habits and behaviors and replace them with better habits. Sometimes we just have to strengthen certain habits. But the bottom line is your success will always be determined by your habits, not by your willpower, not by your current level of motivation. It's your habits. Superconductivity is an exercise that helps people uncover their inner wisdom and higher level of guidance that they themselves bring out. We deal with swish patterns, which is a way to make very quick changes in your emotional and physical states. There's a fast phobia model, which is how to quickly erase certain phobias like the fear of spiders and the fear of heights. And we teach a concept called sleight of mouth, which is really how you can do linguistic magic as a coach. What are some of the questions you can ask the statements that you make, some of the embedded commands. What are some of the questions you can ask, the statements that you can make to really get people to make internal and long-lasting changes very, very quickly? So all of these skills and understanding will give you the ability to be a transformational force on this planet. And it'll actually help you grow your business tremendously because the certainty that you have when you're able to do this kind of work is magnetically attractive. It causes people to trust you. It causes people to want to hire you because they see the boldness, they see the confidence, and that's what they want to follow. So just to kind of recap here, what most coaches need is more confidence in their coaching abilities. And they need more certainty in the results that they can produce for their clients. And they need more transformational exercises and tools to use with their clients. They also need powerful frameworks and a system of coaching to follow. And finally, coaches need mastery on all levels. And when you do the work to achieve that level of mastery, magical things are possible. I want to share with you just a few people who've gone through this process. Patricia Gross said she learned the art of coaching, not the science, but the art of coaching. Knowing the basic skills is not enough to bring dramatic change to your clients. Sean taught me how to find my best self so that I can be effective in every single coaching session. And she says working with Sean is an amazing experience. You'll feel exhilarated and ready to move forward as a coach. This program is not to be missed for anyone who wants to be a part of a community of confident and capable coaches. And all coaches need more confidence and more capability. Kelly Robbins says she has become addicted to seeing people's lives transform right before her very eyes. It's an amazing experience. Linda from Canada says this is life-changing. She feels like she has mad skills now, and she's living her purpose-driven dream life. And now she feels a part of this elite coaching family and this elite coaching tribe. So if you're the kind of person that really wants to dive in and you know the value of learning these kinds of skills so that you can be a transformational force on this planet and you can be an elite level coach, then I invite you to take a look at some of the continuing education programs that we have here at Elite Coaching University. We do in-person deep dive certification seminars. We provide online certification courses. We have business consulting. We have one-on-one coaching, and we have group coaching. Now, where you are is going to determine what the best next step is for you. But if you're the kind of person that wants to go deep, I just want you to know that we've got a 5-day elite certification program coming up. We only do this course once every 6 months or so, and the next one is in the middle of July out here in Southern California. So if you are a coach currently or you want to become a coach and you're committed to achieving these higher levels of mastery, then the next step for you would be go to this website, elitecoachinguniversity.com/ECU-app. And on that site, there will be a very short survey, 4 quick questions for you to fill out. And one of our strategists will get on the phone with you and help you identify what obstacles are currently standing in your way that we need to help you remove so that you can become the coach that you want to be and build the business that you want to have. And the last thing I want to say is please don't fall for the one-size-fits-all approach. You are a unique person. You bring a unique skill set to this industry. You have certain strengths. You have certain weaknesses. There is no business model that's for everybody. There is no marketing plan that's for everybody. There is no such thing as a cookie cutter approach when it comes to the coaching industry. So do yourself a favor and put yourself under the microscope. Put yourself under the microscope and allow us to bring our years and years and years of experience in this industry to help you get clarity on what your next step should be. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of this video. We look forward to helping you identify what your next step is on your journey during the consultation. And if you do decide to join us in one of our programs, then I look forward to personally meeting and greeting you sometime very soon. Again, I'm Sean Smith. Take care of yourself and everyone and everything that's important to you in this life, and I'll talk to you real soon.